I really hope that this does not impact all the moms and dads out there having their kids play football. Could be bad. Concussion, written and directed by Peter Landesman, stars Will Smith, Alec Baldwin, and Albert Brooks. It's based off of a 2009 GQ article called Game Brain. This is not an article that I'm familiar with. I've never read the article. I don't know the extent of the detail taken from the article for the film. So as a fan of film, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. As a football fan, I'm conflicted, bringing up discussions of why football should be eliminated and why it shouldn't be played. Oh, anyway, so Will Smith is the highlight of this movie. Far and away. Will Smith is the reason to go see this movie. His best dramatic role in quite some time. Will Smith plays the doctor who discovers CTE, brain disease caused by head trauma in football. This doctor is Nigerian. Going into this film, you could assume the accent he portrays is going to be very bad and obnoxious and take away from the movie, or it's going to be very good. In this case, it was very good. Watching this movie, I didn't see Will Smith. I saw the doctor that he was portraying. I thought he did an incredible job, and many scenes in this film, dialogue scenes that were emotionally driven because of Will Smith and the character he was portraying. And that was the best part about this film, easily. It was really hard for me to tell whether this was supposed to be a biopic of Dr. Omalu, the doctor portrayed by Will Smith, or if it was a focus on this important event in his life. I mean, the film is called Concussion, so it's supposed to be about the brain disease that he discovers as a result of concussions and head trauma from the sport of football, particularly in the NFL. But I don't believe his life is something that desires a film treatment. And at times, they really talked about his life too much, and his relationship with his wife is really detailed on screen, and that to me seemed unnecessary, and it took away from the actual story that you know they're trying to tell here. The discovery of CTE and its effect on the NFL and the relationship between the NFL and Dr. Omalu. And at times, they went away from that, and and as a result, the pacing of the film, to me, was off because they intercut the relationship of Dr. Omalu and the NFL and his discovery of CTE with Dr. Omalu's personal life and fictionalized scenes of the NFL players that were affected by this disease. The fictionalized scenes with the NFL players, I felt that a few of them were very good. But for the most part, they also seemed to take away from the film, and they really just dragged on the runtime of this film. The film, 2 hours long, and it probably could have been cut down by 20 minutes to a half an hour by taking some of this out and maybe cutting it a little differently. I just thought that some of it was too distracting to the story that they were trying to tell. The other thing about this movie is when it ends, we all know what happens. At least if you follow football, you know what happens. I mean, there's been some new rules and regulations implemented since this has come out in terms of head trauma and illegal hits in the NFL to the head in college football and even in high school. So to me, the impact of the end of this film was just kind of like, okay. So yeah, that's it. I mean, we know. It just didn't seem like the end of this film was as impactful as it could have been if the film came out 30 years from now. Because maybe 30 years from now, you're getting an audience, depending on where the sport of football goes, that doesn't know what happened and how this came about. And at that point in time, they could have had scenes showing how football's progressed, but that's not the case. So I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. That score sounds higher than the way I just talked about this film, and that is because I really truly did enjoy Will Smith's performance in this film. I really thought it was his best performance in a while. I think he should be nominated for an Oscar for this movie. I thought his performance was that good, and he is worth seeing this movie for. It is a very interesting film that has some great scenes from Will Smith. I'm hoping to go see a few more movies before this year is up. Revenant does not receive a wide release until January. I would like to go see that and a couple more movies until I do a best of 2015 review. So that might not come until mid-January when I get to see The Revenant, because I have a feeling that's going to be in my top films. But anyway, let me know what you thought of Concussion, if you saw it, if you didn't, what you thought, what you didn't think. Vince the Film Nerd, I will see you next time. Yeah.